Have you ever dreamed of spending Christmas surrounded by the stunning wildlife of the Serengeti, then ringing in the new year on the pristine beaches of Zanzibar? Join me on an extraordinary 10-day adventure with Visit Tanzania for Less. Our journey kicks off in the heart of the Serengeti. For 2 days you'll witness the majestic wildlife in their natural habitat, creating unforgettable holiday memories. Next, we explore the breathtaking Ngorongoro crater, a true wonder of nature, home to a dense concentration of wildlife. Feel the thrill of spotting the Big Five and more. But the adventure doesn't stop there. Continue with the Serval Wildlife Tour. Discover the beautiful South African white lions while learning about the efforts to protect them. After your safari, enjoy 5 days in Zanzibar. Relax on pristine beaches, explore vibrant coral reefs, and soak in the rich culture and history of this tropical paradise. End your trip with a guided city tour of Dar es Salaam. Discover the vibrant life of Tanzania's largest city and immerse yourself in its unique charm. This entire journey of a lifetime is only $3,805 per person. Secure your spot with just a $300 deposit and enjoy flexible monthly payments. For more information and to book your holiday special, visit visittanzania4less.com. Spend less and see more. This holiday season, create memories that will last a lifetime with Visit Tanzania for Less. Happy holidays and happy travels.
All right, beautiful people on this Tuesday afternoon. The OGPA is joined by Big Rob in the studio. And we got a celebrity in the building.
Yes, sir. That's from what I understand. I didn't even know when I was at the hotel earlier today. I didn't know he was a celebrity. I would have bowed down to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say this brother can burn. Say he can burn.
He was just dressed as a regular person.
Right. Muskegon's very own Jimmy Hill has came back home just for today for a special occasion. He's been all over the world. Born and raised here in the city of Muskegon Heights, is a culinary arts expert at in Coldwater, Michigan, at the correctional facility there. And we are happy to have back home Jimmy Hill. Sir, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
You look good. You told me what year you graduated, and I'm like, wow, you don't look like it.
Well,
it's the food.
It's because of the food.
It's because of the food.
That I got these extra LBSs on me.
No, but you look good though. Like you graduated in the class of 1973.
Yeah, it's seemed like a very long time ago, but those years went pretty fast. So here we are now, 50 years later, and but I'm appreciative just to be a part of Muskegon Heights. I've always said that you can't take it out you. It's changed a lot, but I still love coming home because it's my home.
Well, Michael Smith down in Houston, Texas says, "My man."
That's my man. That's CC Big.
Right. So you are a chef at Coldwater at the institution there, but you're not just an ordinary chef. You teach what? What do you teach the kids?
Well, I teach the culinary arts program for the Michigan Department of Corrections, and my facility is Lakeland Correctional Facility, which is in Coldwater, Michigan. So it's basically it's a cooking class. We teach everything that you would learn when you go to downtown here at the CIM or Johnson and Wales or the Culinary Institute of America. It's the same thing, same book work, same material. It's just that they're locked up. So
wow. So I was reading that because of your program, they're seeing less people coming back to prison that's been through your program.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Well, the numbers say 6% recidivism rate.
6%.
Yeah.
Woo! They need to have your program like in every prison then.
So there's a total right now of 10 programs. There used to be 14, but because of some of the closings, the facilities, so now we're down to we're down to 10. So
These programs, are they your programs?
it's the same program,
Uh-huh.
but there are different different facilities, and then there's different instructors. So we have the same bookwork, same material, and we have the same budget. But some of us just do some things that's a little different in terms of getting the information out across to the students.
Wow. Jimmy Smith, Jimmy Hill, I'm Jimmy Smith, basketball player. Jimmy Hill's in the building, from Muskegon Heights, and works in Coldwater, but been all over the world. Today you came home because of what? What made you come? And it's cold outside. I know this was not ideal weather for you. Y'all probably don't have any snow over there.
It snowed a little bit the other night, but when I got on the highway yesterday coming here, the ground was nice and clean, and everything was dry. I woke up this morning here because of the lake effects,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked totally different than it was when I went to bed last night.
That's right. Yeah. What made you come home?
I came home today because Chef Lakeisha Harris, the Soulfield, she asked me if I would come to her opening today. So I came for that, and I like to to support her, and so that's why I'm here.
What's your opinion of her chef skills?
She is she always says that she's not classically trained, but you don't have to be classically trained to be a good cook, chef. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all just cooks, but it just depends on how you come across with your food, with what you do with it. So some people are more classical, some are more refined, and then you have cooks that just if it's in you, it's in you,
right?
And so she's a good person, and she likes what she does. So you try to support that when you see it.
Wow. And was you surprised to see the good turnout that it was?
Yeah, it was. Because of the weather, maybe it could have been more, but it was pretty busy when we were there.
Yeah.
And I got in last night, so it was a few things going on there. But yeah, I'm pleased with what she's doing, and she just it's still a long road because you need other people to make you get to where you need to be at in food service.
Exactly.
So I if they support her, then she's in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the key word, right?
Support is the key word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Big Rob. I got a bunch of questions. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I got a turn today. So, what's your favorite food to cook?
Mm-hmm. I like spicy foods. Things that like Peruvian and Cajun, Creole, Mexican, things that have spice. Spice is good for you. It's good.
Really
pumps. Keeps your blood circulating, and garlic is good for you, and so pepper flakes and things that spicy. It keeps you going.
Okay.
But I love spicy food. As you can see, I love food because I got these extra LBSs on me here. So, but yeah, I like spicy foods.
What is a sous chef?
A sous chef is the second in charge.
Oh, that's all that means.
Yeah,
I thought it was some title or something because I do watch cooking shows, and it's like, yes, sir, sous chef, and I'm like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, there's a brigade that you follow, and the one that's in charge is the executive chef, and then his right hand man is the sous chef. So it just goes down from there.
Oh, so that's all it means, second in charge. I thought it was something to do with seafood.
Like more money.
Seafood or something. I'm like, sous chef. What is a sous chef? What's the hardest food to cook?
It depends on how much you get into what it is that you do. For a long time, German food it always tripped me up. I like German food, but I could never, get it to where I thought I could feel proud about it.
Mhm.
So I'm still kind of.
What about like Asian cuisine?
I like Asian cuisine,
Because they eat a lot of fresh
fresh,
stuff from the ocean.
a lot of a lot of what people call funky flavors.
Mhm.
Some people don't like fish sauce, but as you go across over in there, there's Vietnam and the Vietnamese. They do a lot of you know that fish sauce is a staple there.
Oh, really?
And like kimchi smells so bad, but it tastes really good, and so it's just how it's prepared. And but fish sauce is a big part of that. So
Wow.
Mm.
Jimmy's in the building, family. He's in the building. Michael said he's a duck liver. Michael Smith in Houston, Texas. Andy O'Reilly says, "Hey, Jimmy." BB White, I don't know where she's at. She's another celebrity. She says, keyword, support brothers and sisters. Now, you have been to how many different countries?
man, I think 12.
And so explain this at the show. In certain countries I go to, I know the food is good, it's clean, but my body don't agree with it. And you get what they call traveler's diarrhea. What causes that? What?
There's a lot of people in line waiting for that answer.
I just know Jimmy can help me.
It's kind of the same thing when you go to Mexico. They say don't drink the water.
Right.
Well, some foods are just your body isn't used to, and it takes time. It takes time for it to adjust, and so you get that stomach queasiness.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Hawaii, and there is so many different fruits over there. I had no problem with eating them, but then later on that evening, my stomach was like, "Hey, man, you
kind of went out there, Jimmy.
You ate some stuff you shouldn't have ate." So, and the thing is, you can't bring any of that stuff back, right? Because I was going to try to bring a couple of those, different fruits back to show the class, but.
End up on A&E channel.
It ends up as you walk through the airport and they scan your bag, all that stuff that they take out, they throw it on the top and they discard it. They won't let you bring it out. So,
even from Hawaii.
Even from Hawaii.
No, I know from other countries you couldn't bring food. I didn't know they'd be that strict in Hawaii. All right, go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, I was fascinated by what he was saying because this is Hawaii is part of America, right? Of Why can't you bring a piece of fruit from Hawaii to Michigan? I mean,
because it's almost in Japan
or New York.
You can't take stuff in. They won't allow you to bring stuff in because they're trying to stay as I guess clean and pure or safe as possibly can without bringing in something that's going to upset their
nature
ecosystem.
Yeah. Wow, Jimmy. So when did you first realize that you are a great chef, a great cook? Was it in high school here? Well, did you have Dr. Padres?
Yeah, he was the geometry teacher. But, we were always in the room. He used to call me Richie the Rich Kid. He said, "Hey, Richie the Rich Kid, what's up, Richie?" And I mean that was just because I was the only child, and so it seemed.
So you had Converse.
It seemed as though that I had more than other people, which some things,
right?
But it was just because there was not enough it wasn't other people to have to buy for in the family. It was just me. So some things came a little bit easier, but my father wasn't having it. He was like, I remember that one day someone said to me, he said, "Man, Jimmy T, y'all got money," and to me it didn't mean anything to me, but I said it to my father. I said, "Yeah, they school, they be calling me Richie the Rich Kid," and it was like, "Man, y'all got money, you rich." And he said to me, he said, "No," he said, "I've got money." He said, "You just live here." So I never forgot that because he was really funny.
Wow.
But yeah, you're right. It was his money.
Right. Right. So when did you realize that you had the skill set?
I was 8 years old, and my mother was in the kitchen one day, and she was cooking dinner.
Uh-huh.
And she had this Betty Crocker cookbook, and so I was flipping through the pages, and I seen this chicken and rice soup, and so I asked her if I could cook that, and she said, "Yeah, you can cook that. Just get everything that you need out." And so while she was cooking, I had this pot over there, and I started this chicken and rice
Okay.
soup, and I didn't know what I was doing. So what happened was it overcooked, and I didn't know that when something cooks too long, it condenses down, and it also gets the flavors like fortified. So it became a chicken and rice stew. So I let them taste it, and they said, "Oh, Jimmy, this is pretty good." And so I took some next door to my neighbors, the Trammels,
Oh wow.
and they was like, "Yeah, Jimmy, this is really good." And I think that was like a Sunday, and so for the rest of the week, I probably cooked that 3 or 4 times, and I continued to take that next door to people, and they was like, "Oh Lord, here we come again with this chicken and rice."
Right.
And but I didn't know what I was doing, and I just kind of stumbled up on the fact that if you cook something longer, it will condense down, and the flavors are fortified, and it becomes more flavorful. So that was my first dish I ever cooked. But my father, we sold barbecue. In the neighborhood, people would come from Illinois and Wisconsin and Indiana to buy this barbecue. So I was always out there on the grill with him. And my mother, she worked for Muskegon General Hospital, so she was a dietitian. So I was always around food. So it just kind of, seeped in me, I guess.
Wow. You have a documentary out. Tell us about your documentary.
The documentary is called Cold Water Kitchen, and basically it's about the job that I have now in the Michigan Department of Corrections. It's about my class, and the way it came about is one of my students wrote a letter to at that time the food critic Mark Kurlianchek, and he said, "Hey, I just want you to know that I'm a part of this class down here in Lakeland Correctional Facility, and we think you should come and check it out because we're doing some amazing things." And so the food critic called me and asked me if he could come and visit the class, because every year in May I have a program I do. It's called the Food Service Symposium, and I invite chefs in to see the class, to see what it is that the students do. And we have like round robin interviews, and then we cook them lunch, and we do a chop competition where I have one of my students up against another one. For the last couple of years we've changed it, so now it's one student with the chef and one student with the chef, and so they get a chance to work alongside working chefs.
Okay.
So he came, and he said, I'd like to come to check your class out. And so I thought, well, let me talk to my students, and I'll let you know. And so I talked to some of the students, and I said, this food critic wants to come and be a part of the symposium. What do you think? And they was like, "No, chef, we know what you said. They're just going to come in and bash the food, and say something like they thought they were really cooking food, but they were cooking food loaf." And
No.
except this one student, and he is a part of the documentary as well. His name is then it was Ninrod, but his name is Daquan Sistrom. He said, "You know what, chef? Let him come, and we're going to show them what we can do." So I thought, okay, because the Detroit Free Press is in Wayne County. Most of my students are from Wayne County.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, that's good because they'll get a chance to see what's going on. And so I called him back. I said, okay, you can come. And so we did a wild game meal. Did like roasted pheasant and duck, and we did rabbit. They let me do a scallop dish.
Wow.
The students did, but and so when he came, when he started to serve, we served him his first plate, and he looked at it and he said, "It there's a bank of windows in my classroom." So he set it in the window and he took a picture of it, and then he tasted it. And you could, the first taste, just kind of like a regular face.
Right.
But then the next dish, and then the next dish, you could see his face changing every time to the point to where he was going, And so that was like the first week of May. It's always the first Monday.
Inside the wall. This is inside the prison.
Yeah. It's always the first or second week in May because Mondays are good for most chefs because a lot of them are off Sunday, Monday, or Monday, Tuesday. So this was the first week of May that year, which was 2018. And 3 weeks later, I was walking through the National Restaurant Show in Chicago. And I seen these ladies about maybe 10 paces ahead of me looking in my direction. And I heard this one lady said, well, there he goes right there. And so I thought she was talking to another lady. I thought they was talking about somebody behind me.
Right.
So I kind of like tried to get out the way. And she said, no, we're talking about you. She said, isn't this you? She was looking at her phone. And I said, yeah. I said, it is me. She said, yeah. I said, well, whatever happened, I didn't do it. I wasn't there. And so what had happened was the Food Critic had released the article in the Free Press. And so it went all over. And about 3-4 minutes later, he called me and said, hey, Chef, I just want you to know that we released the article. And I said, yeah, this lady was pointing at me like,
just like that.
I told her I wasn't there. So that's how I found out that it had been released. So it's, just kind of, since then we've been all over. It finally hit in 2022, it went to it's called the DOC Film Festival in New York.
Okay.
For the world premiere.
Okay.
And since then we've been just out in the circuit, the film circuit.
Wow. If you're just tuning in, we have Muskegon's very own Chef Jimmy Lee Hill, who has been working inside the correctional facility in Coldwater. How many years?
I'm into my 40th year.
40th year. Wow.
Right now. Yeah.
But you're a celebrity chef who just happens to work inside the Coldwater Corrections Institute. Was it Lakeland? What's the name of it?
Lakeland Correctional Facility.
Lakeland Correctional Facility.
Yeah.
And have any of your former students got into the restaurant business once they got out?
Yes, sir. The one we were just talking about, Daquan Sistrom. He the movie follows 4 people, me and 3 of my students. 2 of them, one of them being Daquan, he owns a restaurant in Detroit on the east side. It's called the Green Mile Grill. And it's on the corner of Lindquist and Gratiot. So he owns a brick and mortar and then also a food truck. So there's a lot of stories out there from guys out of my class, a lot that we couldn't really follow at the time because it's considered as over familiarity. But now it's changed a little bit to where they say, you know what, you guys should keep track of what they're doing. And so for the last 7-8 years, we've been keeping track of, who does what. As long as they're on parole or probation, they can't talk to me.
Okay.
So they have to be completely off of paper before I can have contact with them.
How many inmates do you think you have impacted over 40 years through your class?
Man, it's 1,000 at least. Yeah.
Wow. Is this a ministry for you?
A lot of people say that I'm doing God's work, and I was just putting food on the plate, and handing out the books. It was just in them to do what they're doing. But I understand what people say. So
you could be at a 5-star restaurant.
I hear that.
You could be at a JW where you're making very good money, or you could be in some of these fancy resorts, these resort areas, Seychelles and Mauritius or Tahiti or whatever.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to stay at the correctional facility? Were you making a lot less money? You're okay now. They make money there. You're okay.
Well, but
it's a different level there.
It's a different level. Yeah. There's a lot of people say that all the time, and so you have to want to be in food service to be in food service. You can't fake that, and so when I first started off, I clearly wasn't in it for the money because it's a civil service job.
Right.
So it's not like we getting tore off major coins anyway.
Right.
But I like my job, and those guys, some of those guys, they're completely they don't understand food because they come from a inner city. Some cases, a lot of them never seen a grocery store, and so they don't really know where the food comes from. They just think it comes from the store.
Right.
So there's we have a football field sized garden in my back of the class, and so I took a student out one day and we pulled up some potatoes in the bush, and once it came up, when he seen the potatoes hanging down, he said, "Chef, what's that?" I said, "These are the potatoes that we're going to make your French fries out of today." He said, "Wow, I just thought they came from Farmer Jack's, because Farmer Jack's was was a store, grocery store in Detroit area. Then they went away. So they're just sponges. They absorb so much, and they have so much to prove to a lot of people, because society says that this is where you need to be at, and you never be anything, and so a lot of those guys, they have a chip on their shoulder, and so they want to do what they can do to prove that maybe I made some mistakes or something, but
right.
I'm worth something, and so that they bring to class every day with that attitude, and it makes them do extremely well. I'm extremely proud of those guys that has gone on to be major players in the food service.
Because of you. He's a hero.
I just gave the books.
He's humble. He's humble, Muskegon. He's very humble. He's one of ours. Before we go, is there any people that you want to shout out that had an impact on your life, maybe past, present, maybe they're going on, but who impacted Jimmy Hill?
Well, I definitely would say my parents, because we were a food service family because of the barbecue that my father did, and because my mother worked in the kitchen in Muskegon General Hospital. But in terms of just overall people, I remember my mom would say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. And so I ran with the right group. A lot of things I wouldn't do with some of my partners because I didn't want my mother to have to humble or to walk up and hobble up to a casket and look in and see me there, because I did something that either I shouldn't have did or I was with somebody that I shouldn't have been with. And so I just hung around with some of my major partners, Cleo McCarty and Tony Murdaugh and Jerome Richardson, Michael Smith, CC Biggs, that stands for cookie maker, chocolate maker.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that was it. I mean, I couldn't. My father was he was the author and founder of some of the most tenacious butt whoopings known to man. So
The author and founder.
yeah. So I did what I was supposed to do to avoid, catching the raft.
Right, you don't want them problems.
No.
So who? Just shout out your family then. Who is your family?
It's like I said, I'm. It's kind of like just me, in terms of, I don't have any like Hill family members here, and I got my son Corey Hill and my son Terry Spears, and my my daughter, she just passed away this past May, Deasia Hill.
Deasia?
Yeah,
That was your daughter?
That's my daughter.
She was my neighbor on Baker Street for a while, a long time ago.
Yeah,
wow, sweetheart.
Yeah, she.
Wow, small world.
I think it's about 6 months.
Yeah, a lot of people loved her. Worked at Muskegon Township at the police department.
Yeah. So that's it in terms of
I see it now.
members.
I'm looking at you. I'm like, wow. I see Deasia. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story, for making out time for this impromptu interview. And if people want to reach you, how can they find you?
Well, I have my website is www.chefjimmyleehill.com. And, you can kind of look on the website and it'll show you food, and there's some recipes, and we add things to it, periodically. Maybe we can add this podcast to it.
Yeah, definitely.
So other than that, Facebook as well, Jimmy Lee Tebow Hill.
Thank you so much, man. You look fabulous. You look fabulous. I can tell you've been taking care of yourself, man, and that's good to see.
It's nothing better than 10:45 at night eating a bag of chips. That's got to be
no. No, we're not hearing that. No,
I do some of my best eating at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
It tastes
so good. It tastes so good. Yeah.
Before we go, what's the most healthiest thing though, from your perspective, that we can eat?
Food.
Don't say that, Rod. No, that's the easy way out.
Olive oil is good for you. It's
oil.
better for you. And like I said, spicy stuff, it keeps your blood circulating. But you want to stay away from, some of the more fatty foods. But they taste so good, and they purposely make them taste that way, so you can eat them at 10 o'clock at night. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Muskegon. Like and share this interview if you're watching online. Of course, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on other social media. Like and share this conversation with our very own, who is impacting the world. Hopefully, they bring the documentary here so we can see it.
Yeah, we're working on that now. So, I get a lot of flack about, it's been all over. When you gonna come home? Well,
it costs money.
So we see what happens here, and we're working on it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. God bless you, man.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Muskegon, going back to my music.